In this video, we will introduce congruent triangles and learn about the side angle relationships in triangles. First, let's talk about the included angle and the included side. The included angle is the angle between two sides of a triangle. So if I had my triangle and the two sides I were given was these two sides, the included angle is the angle between those sides. Versus the included side is the side between two angles in a triangle. So this were my triangle, and I was given this angle and this angle. The included side is the side between those two angles. So this would be my included side. So in this example, it first asks for the included angle for sides AB and sides AC. So side AB is formed by this side, and BC and AC is that side. The included angle is the angle between those two sides. So it would be angle A. Versus the next question says name the included side for angle A and angle C. So if I had angle A and angle C, the included side is the side between those two angles. So it would be segment AC. And this example asks for the angle included by sides PN and NM. So if PN is formed by this side and NM is formed by this side, this would be our included angle that is formed by those two sides. So it would be angle N. Now let's review the side angle relationships in triangles. Please make sure that you carefully listen to this section of the video and take notes, as this is the most important and foundational concept for this section. And with each of these relationships, we are looking for shortcuts, essentially, eventually, to be able to prove that triangles are congruent without knowing everything. When you are making note of the names, please know that whenever they use the letter S in the shorthand, they're referring to a side, and they use the letter A, they are referring to an angle. So our first relationship is called side, 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 or shortened to SSS, because we are given three sides. And sometimes it's helpful to label an actual S or an A depending upon what's given to help us see the relationship. So in the one on the left, I have a side, and a side, and they're all labeled with numbers, versus on the right, they're labeled with variables, but still the same relationship. I'm given a side, and a side. The next relationship is called side angle side, or shortened to SAS. This is formed by two sides and an included angle. So if I look at these two examples, I have a side, an angle, and a side. And my example on the right, I have a side, an angle, and a side. Note that in both of these, it is the included angle and the one that's between the two sides, so it makes sense for the A to be between, or the angle to be between the two S's or the two sides. The next relationship we have is called angle side angle, or ASA, and it is formed by two angles and the included side. So on the left, I have an angle, a side, and an angle, and on the right, I have an angle, a side, and an angle. Notice that in both of these, the side that we have here is the included side that's between the two angles, so it makes sense for it to be ASA, or angle side angle, where the side is the one between the two angles. The next relationship is called angle angle side, or AAS, and it's formed by two angles and a non-included side. So what this means is I have an angle, and a side that's not included. And there I have an angle, and a side that's not included. And note that the side that I'm dealing with is the non-included side, meaning it's the one that's not between the two angles, so it makes sense for the S to not be between the two A's. Sometimes people ask, well, couldn't I call this side angle and SAA? Absolutely. However, these are just kind of the generally accepted terminologies that we use in geometry, so it's kind of a common vocabulary, but they mean the exact same thing. The next relationship I have is side-side angle, or side SSA, where it is formed by the two sides and the non-included angle. So in the first example, I have a side, an angle, and the next example, I have a side, an angle. And notice that for both of these, the angle is the non-included angle. So it makes sense for the A for angle to not be between the two sides or the two S's. And the final relationship I have is angle, or AAA, and it is formed by three angles. So in both of these, I'm given an angle, an angle, an angle, an angle, an angle, and an angle.